So what is the difference between this rain jacket and this one? This rain jacket costs around 40 bucks, and this rain jacket cost about $229. So what makes one fabric that keeps water off of you more valuable than another? And that is a really good question, and a very difficult question to answer. And when Outdoor Vitals sent me the Tushar Rain Jacket, which I thank them, by the way, it is really awesome rain jacket. One, I had to have the weather to test it in, so it took me a minute to be able to record this video. So I've had the jacket for a while. And the other is how do we determine the value, or how do I determine what I want to spend on a rain jacket? And I don't know about for you, but $229 is a lot of money to shell out for a rain jacket. So I had to dive into what sets this apart from, say, a $40 Frog Tog, and the other is what are the technologies and how does it benefit me as a backpacker? What do I need out of a rain jacket or a rain shell as a backpacker, and what technologies do I look for or do I need, and what technologies are out there that maybe I never knew that I needed that I might benefit from. So we'll just dive a little deeper into the Tushar Rain Jacket, and also if you want to check it out, I'll leave a link in the description to be able to look deeper into this rain jacket. They explain it very well. There's a lot of things that I'm going to say for me personally. I don't really know if from my end if they're measurable or not, like as far as like performances of certain fabrics. What I do know is that there are rain jackets that get wetted out, and I hate it, and they get clammy. I also know that when it comes to the word waterproof, that's a slippery slope as well. But I do know that if it says waterproof and it truly is waterproof, then guess what it lacks? It lacks breathability. And when you're moving all day in certain weathers, and you can't let the moisture that your body is producing, if you can't let it escape or release, that's not a good thing for, especially in colder temperatures. Hypothermia can set in, so it can be a safety issue. So breathability is huge when it comes to rain gear, especially for backpackers, because you could be far away from any kind of help or aid. Anything that I've ever worn prior to backpacking that was waterproof would have been in a work environment. And the thing about a work environment is that I'm not far from vehicles. You're not far from aid if you need it. And usually after about 8 to 10 hours, you're going home to shed off your clothes, take a shower, put some dry clothes on, warm, dry clothes on. When you're backpacking, when you get to your destination at the end of the night, you're dealing with what you got. And I know for me, I've been in some situations before where we hiked to a shelter. Once we got higher into the mountains, the rain was just hammering us. It was about 40 to 50 mile an hour winds, and we was just, pretty exposed on the side of this mountain, and so we was just getting hammered all the way up. I had just a regular old rain jacket. Didn't think much about it. It didn't breathe well. It wetted out, and so by the time I got to the top, some of my base layers and my mid layer was soaked. And the thing about backpacking is for me, I don't bring a whole lot of extra clothing. I usually bring a change of socks, maybe a change of underwear, but my mid layers and my jacket, I just assume that I'm going to be able to keep them dry, and so I never pack extra. So just because when you start doubling garments in your backpack, that adds a lot of weight. There's a huge weight penalty to that. So I try to pack as light as I can. So until that trip, I didn't really realize how much I depended on a rain shell that could breathe. And I'd had a pair of frog togs that worked pretty good until the material isn't that tough, and so it tore. They tear really easy. You snag them on a branch, and it's just going to tear. So I'd bought a Columbia rain jacket on sale, and that was the jacket that I hiked up to the top of Mount LeConte in. So I said all that to say it is a very important garment, but just being waterproof isn't enough. And I learned that lesson the hard way, that breathability and the ability to vent and manage moisture is vitally important, especially if you are sweating on the inside and it's raining on the outside. So you have 2 points of moisture. And so I think the trick of the game is to be able to allow moisture to evaporate, but without letting huge droplets of rain get in. And I'm not exactly sure how they do it, but I think in theory, and this is me explaining what I think in theory means, is that you want to have enough microscopic holes to allow moisture vapors to escape, but not allow water droplets in, but at the same time having a DWR coating on the outside, which will also allow the water to sheet off before it can soak in. And so that's kind of the trick of the game. And so the Tushar Rain Jacket is one that I really, really had my eye on. Not to mention how good this thing looks. Man, this thing is a good looking rain jacket. I just have to admit, I like this thing a lot. But this thing is loaded in technologies, and some of them that I don't even really, I don't even fully understand. But what I do know is I know that I can put it through the paces. And so what I've done is I've been on a couple trips with this so far. One time it rained. We went to Newfound Gap and hiked the AT from there to the ice water shelter. It rained all the way up. It rained the whole time we was there, and it was rainy that morning when we headed out. And first off, what I noticed was how well this thing repelled water. To demonstrate how it repels water, I have a glass of water and I have a plate. I'm going to set the plate right here, and I'm going to pour this water on the jacket and make a mess. Let's get it here. Let's just see how well this works. Repels water. Amazing. And another way that these rain jackets that have a lot of technology pushed into them achieves this breathability slash rain protectant is with layers. And I think having an inside layer here, and the Tushar has this layer here. I'm going to say they say it's 3D printed. So this material is 3D printed with these little holes in them to allow moisture to evaporate. And then the outer layer would of course have the DWR coating on it. And I think the website says this has 2.5 layers, so maybe a film in the middle. I'm not exactly sure, but Live Ultralight has a podcast where Tayson and Brigham go into detail about the technologies of the layers and all that, and I will put it up here so that you can check it out. So another means of managing moisture would be through venting, and this here is the armpit, and there is a pit zip here that allows you to open it up and dump a lot of heat out. And I love these waterproof zippers. I love that they've started putting waterproof zippers on rain jackets, because I like that much better than the flap. I think it saves weight. I'm not no gram weenie, but I do like a minimal weight penalty. And that's another thing about this jacket. It is so stinking light. I'm wanting to say 7 to 8 ounces for a large. Let me see here real quick. I actually got it up on the website. Let me look real quick. 7.4 ounces for a large. So that is light. There's like no weight penalty to that. And that's my thing, man. Like, without dialing your clothing in, you're not going to get your base weight real low. You can have a light sleep system, you can have a light backpack, and the next thing you know, you got 10 pounds of clothes in there, because you don't have, it takes a really light shell, it takes a really light puffy jacket and a really light mid layer and some minimal base layers to really get your clothing down, because even if it's going to be cold at night, it could be warmer in the day. So during the day while you're walking, it's a lot of times a shell or your puffy jacket and maybe even your mid layer are not even on you. They're in your backpack. You're just packing them until you get to camp and the sun goes down and the temperatures drop, and that's when you're gonna pull them out and put them on, and maybe starting out first thing in the morning when it's really cold. But besides that, most of the time you're packing it. So one of the biggest weight penalties that I had to overcome was my clothing. And I'm going to say that between 3 garments that changed that dramatically, and that was the Dragon Wool hoodie that I got from Outdoor Vitals and their Nova UL jacket, which hardly weighs anything. And this, of course, is 7.4 ounces, and it packs down to nothing. I mean, you can actually fold it into its pocket, but I don't ever do that. I just stuff the thing in my mesh pocket in the back of my backpack and just call it a day. So then what makes this that much more valuable than this $40 Frog Tog? The old trusted Frog Tog, the ultralight, weighs nothing, hardly cost anything. If you tear it, it doesn't matter. You could buy another one. What makes this a better option than this? And I have to say that it just boils down to moisture management, quality of material, and just the technologies. I mean, there's just not a lot of technology in this. I think there might be a couple layers. You may have some kind of wax coating or something on here to repel water. This will get the job done. I'm not saying that this is not an option. I'm just saying this ain't the best option. It works. The reason I got this is because I hadn't had this yet, and my other one, from washing it a couple times, lost its DWR treatment, and so I decided to just stop in Walmart and buy this on the way to a trip that I knew was going to rain. This is something I've wanted for a long time, and I've never actually owned a really nice rain jacket like this. And so I was really curious as to, is it worth the $200+ price tag? And I'm going to say that to get the technologies that this jacket has, just as light as you can get materials, and then I also like that they got they did go with a thicker denier here and on the back where your backpack's going to ride. I do love that even though it is ultralight, they still didn't slack on allowing it to be durable. So to have a rain jacket with the technologies this has, the ability to manage moisture with pit zips and with breathable materials, I think is worth it. Because when you get, I threw my frog tog over there, when you go from, I think anything under $100, you can't beat frog togs. You just can't beat them. But I've had multiple rain jackets that range from $35 to $50 to $70 to $80. I've had $120 rain jackets that I bought on sale for like $60 or $70, and that's the only reason I bought them. That they just didn't outperform the frog togs until I got this right here. To the ability to manage the moisture, the way that it repels the water and allows some vapors to release, and when you get to camp and your mid layers are dry, having the confidence of that, because nothing makes me more nervous than when my mid layers are wet and I got a whole night to make it through, because I depend on my mid layers even in my sleep system, because if it drops down, I use a 25-degree sleeper bag, and so, or 25-degree quilt, and so if it drops down into the teens, I'm relying on my mid layers and my puffy to keep me warm throughout the night. Well, if I done sweated that out, I'm in trouble, and so I have to rely on my rain shell to keep me dry, not only from the elements, but also not let me sweat out. Because if it's wet from sweat, it doesn't matter what it's wet from, it's still wet. And so once it gets wet, it can't keep you warm. And so I really enjoy having the confidence that this jacket has given me. This will be in my pack every time I go out. I love this jacket. It's even light enough that I would probably use it a lot as a windbreaker. So yes, this is an amazing jacket. But I'm not going to say that it's the best jacket, but I will say that it is that it's competing very well. And I think either this jacket or any jacket like this, unless you're spending, I'm going to say $150 plus, you're not going to get what this jacket will give you, or others that I'm going to say, I guess, in this class, that is putting this type of technology into their fabrics and pushing the limits as far as weight and being able to repel water and allow it to breathe, and the ability to manage moisture, all those things wrapped up together. You got to pay for that. That's just part of it. And I'm going to tell you, this bad boy right here, I mean, man, it even looks good. I mean, I've seen some rain shells, they just don't look that good. This thing right here, it looks good. And I love Outdoor Vitals. They never let me down when it comes to giving me sleeves that are long enough. I love that. Every garment I've ever bought from them, I got the Altitude Sun hoodie, I got the Dragon Wool hoodie, I got the Nova UL, and this, and the sleeves fit great. I love it. And I also love that it's just elastic right here. You know what I mean? I don't like the flippy flip thing that you got to do like that. I like that. I like this right here. Super nice jacket. Waterproof zippers. Man, look at that. And it's got a elastic up here. Keeps it tight to my face. Lets my beard hang out. Yeah, I like this. I like this a lot, actually. Like I said, if you like it, check it out. Links in the description. It does help me. If you buy it, it helps my channel. Anything that anybody does, I appreciate it. And I do want to end the video with this, that if there's a product, yeah, Outdoor Vitals sent this to me, and I really appreciate it, but I'm not going to turn on this camera and I'm not going to discuss anything unless it's just maybe an initial look or something like that. But if it's something that I promote, or if it's something that I say, hey, it's trail worthy, it's because I'm using it. And I will continue to talk about this jacket until I'm no longer using it. If that's just how gear goes. We get new gear, we change things, new technologies come out, this and that. But this right here, this is something that's in my pack. I use this. I have trust in this product. I have faith in this product. So I will be using this, and I'm not in the market for another one. And if somebody sent me another one, it would have to be really, really, really good for me to replace it with this one. So I'm not in the market to buy one. I'm not going to buy one. This is what I use. And as far as things go out there, I mean, when it comes to clothing, all things are subjective. What works for one person may not work for another. But I think there's common ground when it comes to gear that we need, and I think one of them is what is the weight penalty, and is the weight penalty minimal? Did the company or the manufacturer push the boundaries of of how light they could get it and keep the performance of the product or the gear? I think Outdoor Vitals did this amazingly in this jacket. Also, does it serve its purpose? Yes, it does. Does it perform well? Yes, it does. This thing performs amazingly. Also, something else I did just to test out the breathability is I went for a run in it. I played disc golf in it one day when it was probably somewhere around, 68 degrees. Just to sweat, work up a sweat in it. Open the pit zips to see how well that worked. And it never got clammy on the inside. And then I really wanted to push the boundaries on it, and so I went for a 3-mile run, and no matter what I was wearing, I was going to be sweating. So I sweated really, really, really good in this jacket, and of course I was sweating at a rate that it couldn't evaporate and escape the fabric at a good rate, no matter what it was. But what I did like is that it did not feel clammy. It didn't feel clammy to my skin. And as soon as I got to the truck, I unzipped it. I zipped the armpits, and I let myself cool down to see how long that it would take to really just kind of feel like it got to a manageable amount of moisture in there, and it didn't take very long at all. So I like this. I like this jacket a lot. I'm going to push it to its limits like I do anything. And so if there's ever a point of failure in this jacket, I will definitely let it be known. which it probably will reach a point of failure. Most pieces of gear that I have, I'm going to push it to the point of failure. So I will let you know. I will keep you up to date on how well this thing performs. But as of right now, like I said, I've only been able to take it on a couple trips where it rained. I've been out and about and around town in it in the rain, but that's just going in and out of the car. I mean, for $229 you're going to get something that's going to keep the rain off of you. I don't think that's the issue. I think the issue is how well this thing manages moisture. That's why the price tag's so high. And so that's what I'm really wanting to test in up and coming trips, because I don't avoid a trip because it's raining. If I got one planned and I took the vacation days, buddy, rain or shine, I'm going. So this jacket's going to get tested for sure. And I might even just, do a few more, trail runs with this jacket on, and just to see how it does, push the limits. That's what I like to do. And I'll keep you guys posted. But so far, I think I give this thing 2 thumbs up, 5 stars, whatever you want to call it. Is it worth the money? Absolutely, it's worth the money. Just because, is it practical to spend $229 on a rain jacket? Not really, unless you need it. Unless you're doing what we do, getting out there, and we're dependent on, our safety depends on having a rain shell that has this type of technology to, I don't want to say wick moisture, but be able to manage moisture, to keep from wetting out the clothes on the inside. I believe that is well worth the money. And without spending that money, whether you buy this or any other rain shell, and there's some that cost way more than this one does, unless you're spending that kind of money, you're not going to get that out of a rain shell. That's just part of it. So yes, this thing is well worth $229. And I think, to be honest with you, I think that the technologies that's being pushed in this jacket and the way that they market the direct to consumer, you're actually getting about a $300 plus jacket for $229. That's why I love Outdoor Vitals, is because you're going to get that technology being pushed at a cheaper price, not because it's cheaper material, but because the way they do direct to consumer. They cut out the middleman so that we, the consumer, can get a product at a cheaper price, and I'm always grateful for that. So either way, guys, I love you. Thank you for watching. And if you like this jacket, click the link, buy one. It helps me out, helps the channel out. If you don't understand, either way, this is a awesome jacket, and this is going to be in my pack for a while.